Okay.
Hey,
So
Gary.
welcome everyone. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it looks like you made me co-host and not Chris. I don't see Chris listed on the panelists still.
You're gonna, yes, thought, let's see, let me go to the participants. We'll get a lot more participants. There he is. Okay, Chris, so now you're co-host.
Okay.
And Rob is too, and I'm going to keep promoting people. So guys, Chris Latham is, of course, a team member. I've known Chris for several years, going back to probably, boy, what year would that have been? Would that have been 20?
About 4 years, maybe.
Yeah.
4 or 5 years.
Yep. And Chris is a rock solid A+ citizen. Kids, grandkids, has had investment properties, has hit the point in life where he was able to liquidate them and essentially purchase what we call the golden fishing pole. But he's not just fishing all day. I can promise you that. He's staying involved with the team and helping with agent attraction. And of course, he's teaching tonight. So Chris, we really thank you for doing this, even though you're I guess we'll call you semi-retired, but I know it's a privilege to have you on, and I certainly appreciate it,
Well, thank you. All right. I hope I can contribute. When we were with KW, somebody came into our office that's a national expert in LinkedIn and talked me into a $450 LinkedIn course. And he basically did my profile for me. And that's what I paid the $450 for. And then you tweak it as you go, kind of thing. And then I'm kind of embarrassed to say I got into LinkedIn since I figured, well, I paid so much for it, I might as well learn more about it. But a little while back, I paid another $1,000 for an advanced LinkedIn course. And I do not recommend either one of those things to anybody. You can find all of that on YouTube, and you can, I'm going to tell you something here, and I think I have so much to cover that I could do an advanced course here in a few months if anybody's interested. And it's a lot easier than you think. I think it's easier than Facebook. It's much easier to navigate, I've found. So I'm going to share my screen right now.
Okay.
Okay. Can you see my LinkedIn?
Yes.
All right. So this is my homepage. And I have to make this a little smaller. Okay. Do you see only the LinkedIn part?
So far, yeah, it looks like just the LinkedIn.
All right, then I selected the right one.
Okay.
So I'm kind of assuming that everybody already has a LinkedIn. If you do not, a LinkedIn profile that is, if you do not, it's super easy to create one and it's free at linkedin.com. Is there anybody that does not already have a profile? Okay, good. So here you see, this is my home, and you just click on home. And along the top, let's start with the basics. Along the top, you've got these buttons along here, and each one has a purpose. And kind of the starting point for everything when you first start on LinkedIn is the Me button. So if you click on that, you can either go down to View Profile or click on your settings and privacy. So let's start with View Profile. Now here's the $450 secret here. You want to fill this thing out completely. You want to put a picture in there, a headshot, a background shot. You see these pencils right here? That's how you do it. You just click on these pencils. You must have these two things here and your name as a minimum. If you see people on LinkedIn that don't even have a headshot, then you know they're not really utilizing LinkedIn, right? So you fill all of this stuff out. You click on the pencil and you start filling out your information. The secret to this is you're building a resume of sorts, but nobody cares that much about all of your past experience. You can actually upload your resume to start with. There's a button for that. Upload my resume, and then you can go in there and tweak it and make it a little more specific to your current career and your current information. And you want to be 100% honest on your profile, and you want to be 100% confident. You want to put words in there like you would in your resume, power words like trusted, respected, national, advisor, things like that. And you do, just remember, don't lie about anything because you'll get found out. So put in things in there that would, attract people. You want your bio, when you're filling out your bio, to be more of a benefits-based than a I, me, mine kind of based. You want to have people consider what will they get out of it? Why should they contact you? What are you a specialist in? One of the tips on that is to you position yourself as an expert. You want to think that as if, let's say you're one of those guys that is the top broker in your area and people come to see you. You give a lunch and learn. People are willing to see you. You may get 100 or more people show up just to hear you speak. That's the kind of position you want to portray on your LinkedIn. Nobody knows who you are. Nobody knows how big your company is. You want to put in things like that that would give that impression. That's the $450 tip right there, right? So that's what that guy did for me, was he put in all kinds of flowery words and things like that to make my resume and so on sound better. It's very important that you list your licenses and your certifications, and of course your license. You need to have somewhere on your page your license number. And I don't remember where that is on here. Oh, and here's a funny tip for you. See where I have Latham Real Estate Group? I picked, it says, who do you work for? So you type in the box EXP. You can actually do a search, EXP, and then kind of fills it out for you. And our broker in California is just called EXP of Southern California, I think. And I filled that in and come to find out that somebody took that name. Some guy owns it. And it's kind of a funny coincidence. When I was with Keller Williams, somebody did the same thing. They took over our brokerage and it had a person's name on it when you did a Google search. So when you do a LinkedIn search for EXP of California, you end up with this guy's name. So I said, I don't want people to think I work for him. So I just changed the name of, you can make it any name you want. And then I thought, well, that sounds a little more professional, doesn't it? So in here, and I did that, by the way, I did that just the other day when I was studying for this. I didn't realize this whole time that somebody else was owning EXP. So beware of that, and look at that for your past as well. If you came from Keller Williams and you type in Keller Williams, click on it and see if it doesn't happen to be owned by some agent that took it over. And here is a very, very important tip that I got from an employee at LinkedIn who helps people, is a paid person that helps people. Volunteer for something. If you don't already volunteer for something, you should, because it boosts it's a good thing to do anyway, right? But it boosts your ratings on LinkedIn. You'll notice here that I've worked for, I shouldn't really say work. I volunteered for Habitat for Humanity for about 5 years. And it's only about one weekend a month. And you can still put that down as part-time volunteer for part-time construction worker volunteer for Habitat for Humanity. And if you volunteer for anything, put that in there. If you have in the past, put it in there. If you don't already, volunteer for Habitat for Humanity. It's good to get in with construction guys and learn more about construction, or a crisis pregnancy center, or a food bank, or something like that. As you scroll down, by the way, it's important to note that when you click on these things, you just start at the top, work your way down, and fill everything in. Just look at all of these pencils and fill it in. Don't leave anything blank. When you get down here to license and certifications, you just put in whatever you're licensed for. And I was certified on Unix in the past, which is no longer relevant, but I still have it in there. And here you can take skills. You can say, I want to take a skills test, whatever you want. And when you add your skills, you can ask people to endorse you. So you can see that I have people that I've connected with on LinkedIn, and 13 people said I know something about real estate. 12 said I know something about residential homes. So in the past, you see, I was more heavily into Unix, so 31 people endorsed me for Unix. And I'm not deleting any of that off of here because you really don't need to delete your past. It shows that I have a computer background, which somebody might think is a good thing if you're a real estate agent. So if you don't like something about your past, you can always delete that. Any questions so far?
I want to learn more about the deleting things from my past.
Okay. Yeah. Well, in LinkedIn, you just click the pencil and erase it.
There you go. I will tell you something funny though. A lot of people don't realize this. The term realtor and realtor.com was actually originally captured by someone who wasn't even in real estate. It was just a smart business person, entrepreneur thought, maybe this will be handy someday and make me a lot of money. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened, you know?
Yeah, and I'm embarrassed to say I had a chance to do that when I was in my computer science classes. We studied about the ESRI, the Stanford Research Institute. There was the ones that hand out domain names. And I said, what keeps somebody from getting Ford.com? They said, well, nothing. I said, why don't I do that? And the instructor said, well, I don't think you can do that. Well, turns out I could have done that. So, okay, this is important here, and this is $1 million trick right here. Go down to settings and privacy. Click on that, and once again, start at the top, work your way down. And this really doesn't take that long. In a couple of 1-hour sessions, you could go through all of this and just look at it all, click on it, change it, do whatever you need to change it. And you can look at mine anytime you want. I'll share it with you. Say yes to most everything. You want people to find you out there, right? Make sure everything is accurate. And here's a tip for you. Always, always, always turn on two-step verification. You should do that on LinkedIn. You should do it everywhere. And where is that? I'm not seeing it right now. Doggone it. I put it down in my notes to make sure you do it. It must be inside one of these. What's that?
Which button is it?
Is it under sign in and security?
Left-hand side, sign in and security.
Let's see. Two-step, there it is. Yes. You see how I have it on?
Mm-hmm.
You click on change. You can turn it on or turn it off. And that means that you will get a text on your cell phone. It says, are you really logging into LinkedIn? Or are you doing whatever you're doing? And say, yes, I am. That's very important. You don't want people messing with your LinkedIn profile, right? And I recommend that everywhere. If you have that option on your bank, Facebook, whatever, that's an important thing to do from a computer standpoint. Now, here is a hot tip for you. And I suggest that you do not share this tip with anybody because it's better for you and if you just do it yourself. And where is that? This has to do with your connections. So let's see here. I'm sorry, I went through all of this. You see, there's a lot of things to go through. Data privacy. The setting is, do you want to share your connections? Okay, it's under visibility. Here, I'm sorry, visibility.
Okay.
Connections. Click on this. Choose if your connections can see your connection list. Allow your connections to see your connection list. Its default is yes. So on LinkedIn, when somebody connects with you or you connect with them, you can see all of their connections and they can see all of your connections. If you check this off as no, then they can't see your connections. There's no benefit to you for someone else to see your connections that I can think of.
Mhm.
And if you want to market to your connections, there's a benefit to you. If you want to see, if you find somebody from your alma mater or something and you want to see who they're connected to, go into their profile and look at all of their connections and see if there's anybody you want to connect to. And from a selfish, I guess it sounds kind of selfish, you should turn that off because you don't necessarily want everyone seeing your connections. Does anybody disagree with that?
Yeah, I can see, depending on your situation, your job, career, whatever that is. Yes, I can definitely see that.
Yeah. So us as realtors, we want to connect with people. We have three main objectives, right? People buying, people selling, and people we're interested in recruiting. So
I would definitely turn that off because I had to do that, hide my friends list on Facebook because real estate agents were chiming in and contacting my people that I was working with on Facebook.
yes, exactly. And that was happening to me as well. And not many people know about this on LinkedIn. So it's a good thing to do. And
Okay.
it's, as you saw, it's buried in there. So you really got to look for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so all of this is basic so far. We could spend hours on this, but the important point is fill out your profile, fill out your resume part of your profile, put in some interesting words that make you stand out, make it look like you're a national entity or a worldwide entity, and that you're a leader in your field. And now, having done all of that, you want to start doing something with LinkedIn. So if you go back to your homepage, back to LinkedIn, it's up here on the upper right.
Mhm.
On your homepage, just like Facebook, you can click on Start a Post and you can post something. And what I suggest, number one, of course, same thing with Facebook, is videos. And notice right here on my page, here's somebody's video on here. It's moving, it attracts you. You put a video out there and it should be short. It should be like a 3-minute video. Notice that this is a 30-second video. So I'm sorry, 3 minutes or less. That's what you want. And at the bare minimum, you want pictures out there. So do not, by the way, post a LinkedIn more than once a day. You don't even need to do it once a day. It's not like Facebook. It's not like Twitter. It's much more professional oriented. You don't have to post a lot of things out there. And you decide what you want to post. And let me step back here for a minute. In order for you to get rated up on LinkedIn and on Facebook, for that matter, is you like things and you comment on things. So if I like this video, I can like it. That's kind of the first basic step. If I put a comment in there, that will move me up in the ratings of LinkedIn. And why do you want to get moved up? Same as Facebook. You want people to find you. You want people to connect with you. You want to start recruiting people that want to buy, sell, or become agents. That's your objective here on LinkedIn. And that's what you have to think about. And it's also, therefore, very important to join groups. There will be suggestions that will come along, and you can search for groups. Notice that I'm in the REO professionals group, the fast track buyers, so on. You just start looking for real estate groups, and then you can click on them. They'll show up in your feed, just like Facebook. If you're in the group, they'll show up in your feed, or you can do like I did and click on it and say, okay, this person's talking about whatever, You can go in for just a few minutes every other day, 30 minutes maybe. I don't know if you want to do your Facebook and your LinkedIn at the same time. But if you click on things in here and like it and put in a little comment, that will show, hey, this guy's commenting in the REO professionals group. And that will show other people that you're commenting out. There's approximately 21,000 members in this group. So if you post something in the group or you comment on someone else's post, that makes you look like, you know, you're the person that knows what they're doing on this, and you're contributing to this group. And that is highly recommended.
Mhm.
Sorry, clicking on the
Question,
wrong.
Chris.
Yeah.
How much commenting do you have to do? What's the commitment level in order for you to increase? Like in Facebook, you have to be engaged almost every day for at least a few minutes in order for you to start showing up higher and higher. Is that the same in LinkedIn?
I don't think so. I don't know for 100%, but I can tell you that I'll show you my network here in a minute. And I get dozens of people a week wanting to connect with me on LinkedIn, just because I connect with other people on LinkedIn. And I only occasionally go in and like and comment on things. And it's hard for me to keep track. It's like Facebook. I just don't really want to do it every day. But if you make a commitment to do it every other day or so, just comment on one or two posts or like one or two things and send out connection requests, then you're going to get bumped up there pretty fast, and you will be listed out on other people's. Facebook makes suggestions. We think you'd like to connect with this person. Your objective here is to be one of those suggested persons. And yeah, to answer your question, I don't know the exact formula, but I know it doesn't take much. So occasionally, maybe every other day, just a little bit of commenting and posting and liking. And you, of course, it's to your benefit. The more you do, the better. But don't be, like I said, don't be putting out so much there that you're a LinkedIn spammer. You just want to put out, you know, a few things. Like, let me see here.
Hey, Chris, are you a basic account user or premium?
No, I'm basic. Oh, I'm glad you asked. I've been basic since we signed up for all of this when we were with Keller Williams. And the guy that came out, he suggested that we do that for a couple months and then pay for premium. Well, I never paid for premium. You can do that. And I'm thinking if I start attracting more agents, I might just do that. And there's other things you can pay for on LinkedIn. And so it's up to you. In the beginning, as you're building up your network and you're building up your LinkedIn profile, certainly don't pay for premium until you're well along. And for me, that's been about 5 years. So I guess I'm well along. I could start paying for it, but it just hasn't been on the top of my list, you know? So it's up to you. It's certainly not necessary. It seems to work just fine without it. I'm sure there's pros and cons.
Thanks.
Okay, now here's the important part. Well, everything so far has been important, right? When you click on My Network, you will see people that want to join your network, and you will see people that have joined your network. And basically, I say yes to everybody. And if they're spamming me or something like that, then I'll unfollow them or unconnect. So you can see here that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 10 people that want to join my network or be connected. Let's say that, be one of my connections. So this guy's a realtor. By the way, when we started at KW, I didn't connect with any realtors because I thought, well, why would I want to connect with realtors? They're not going to be buying or selling from me. And now that we're with EXP, you know, our advantage to connect with realtors is we can recruit. And the Keller Williams profit share was so worthless that I never even considered recruiting people for Keller Williams. So I'm gonna, and this is kind of, these are the people I'm looking for, investor. So I'm going to accept everyone. Now, the only people that have kind of been bugging me are the people that bother me about buying Bitcoin or, something like that. But I get very few of that. I find that there's not much spam on LinkedIn. Every now and then I'll get something. And so I'll look at that and say, well, is that something I really want to look at? And usually it's not. And you know what? It went away. It had up here, these people have accepted your connection. I suppose I should have clicked on that first. That the screen went away. But you can see that I have 3,714 connections. And as I was saying earlier, virtually none of them are realtors. Now I'm concentrating more on realtors because I want to attract agents. Gary, if I click on my email,
Okay.
how do I show that? Oh, new share. Okay, here it is.
Yep. Hey, Chris, before you start on that, question from Mike McGrath. Mike, good to see you, buddy. Mike's also new to the team. Is there a setting to control the language the page is in?
Like French?
Can you make it like French, Spanish? I would think LinkedIn would have that. I just don't recall ever seeing it myself.
I'm not sure. There's got to be something.
Yeah, I would believe so. So Mike, what we can do is we can Google that and we'll find out and set up a strategy call, Mike, too, by the way. We'll get things started and we can see if that is a feature.
There is a way to do that. It's in settings. You click on account preferences, or under settings, it goes to account preferences, and right two places under site preferences, it's got content language.
There it was, yeah.
And there's another one, language, so you can change it.
Okay, that's good to know. I guess I never thought of that because I don't know I'd want to do that, but yeah, sure. If you're somewhere else, that's a good thing. Okay, when I click on my email, can you see my email screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. You will get emails from LinkedIn. And by the way, even though it says start a conversation with your new connection, you can right click on that and say find emails from, and it will find all of them. So you see all these people, this is what has come in since the 14th. People that want to join my network or be a connection, or I have asked to be a connection. And these are important here. Please add me to your LinkedIn network. When you click on that, you can accept, well, I just did that before I came here to look at my email. So I've already done that. Having done that, I usually delete it right away, letting me know, well, I did it. I already did it. I don't want to see that in my email anymore, so I delete it. Now, this is where if we had more time, and this would come in handy in an advanced course. Start a conversation with your new connection. Do I want to do that? If I have questions that I can send them, or if you have short little things that you can say, hey, you want to buy a house? Which is probably not what you'd want to send them, but little curiosity questions, to be more seriously, to get them to engage, then this is where you would do that. And that's where your LinkedIn profile comes in handy. These people, remember, they think that you're a nationwide real estate company. So you send them a question that asks them a little bit about themselves. You don't want to ask them right off the bat, are they interested in buying or selling or anything like that? It's just an engagement, a way to get them to engage. And that's really kind of advanced. Your objective in the beginning here is to build your profile completely, get your picture out there, get connections, and then what to do with them comes next.
So Chris, on your homepage, your link to the company you work for, the Chris Latham Real Estate, whatever that was, Is that a link to your EXP website or what is that?
Somewhere in here, I do have a link to my, as a matter of fact, it asks you, what is your website? And we have two, right? We have our one that we get from our KV Core, and we have our agent recruiting website.
Right.
So I do have them in there somewhere. And when you click on, see, where do you see that now?
Well, it was when you were going through there. There it is, right there. There was the Latham Real Estate Group.
Oh, what happens when I click on that?
Yeah.
No, it just brings up my
Okay,
resume, basically, is all that happens.
okay.
But yes, you can put your, it's very important to put your website in here somewhere. And that is in your profile. When you're adding your profile, add your website and add which one you want to add, whether it's if you're attracting more for buyers and sellers, it would be your KV Core website. If you're more interested in recruiting, then it would be your recruiting one. When you're building your connection, by the way, I've been alluding to this all along. Who are you interested in? Are you interested in investors, listings, buyers, other agents? Build yourself an imaginary person or a real person that you've worked with in the past. Who is your ideal client? What would you like? And us as realtors, really, we would have more than one. We would have an ideal seller that lives in, let's say, $1 million home in a nice neighborhood near you, easy to work with, maybe somebody that's downsizing or somebody that's upsizing. And that brings up a point about LinkedIn. There aren't as many people my age and older on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is more of a younger person kind of thing. And if you are already retired or you're in your 70s or 80s, the audience drops off dramatically for LinkedIn. So think about that when you are recruiting or looking for buyers or sellers. LinkedIn is is more of a younger market. I suppose, as most things online. If you think about it, Twitter is certainly geared toward a younger audience. Probably the reason that I'm on LinkedIn is because I'm a realtor and I have a computer background. So I'm on all these social things. It's not as hard for me to get up and running on the computer since I already know computers well. But other people, you'll find the baby boomers aren't quite as familiar with the computer. So think about that. Now, when you're searching for somebody, let's start right here. I'm going to click on my network. I'm going to click on search, and I want to attract CEOs. I figure CEOs will be more likely to sell. And if you come down here, you want to click on see all people results. So you see the people, and if you want to limit yourself to your state, which is the only place you're licensed, and you're looking for sellers, then I clicked on California. And you see this person here, he's in Orange County. So I'm going to ask him to connect. And I don't usually write it. You don't have to write anything here. You can just say, send the connection. You're limited, by the way. And I don't know what the limit is, but I've reached it. You have only so many per week. When that happens, you can't send out any more connection requests. So what worked for me, by the way, and I guess the $1,500 may have paid for itself, because I typed in my college that I graduated from. And I was just thinking, well, kind of like Gary's things, who do you contact? Here's a list: your dentist, your doctor, your lawyer, your banker. You'd start typing in things like that. And if you can get kind of demographics, get yourself in your area, your state. Here's Cal Poly in here. And I can click on alumni, And I can start connecting with these people, people you may know. People will show up in here. I think I goofed up here a little bit. Hang on.
It's a lot of alumni.
Yeah, alumni. Oh, okay. I can do a search. See here? I can do any kind of a search. 1900 might be a little far back. Here's things about my alumni. Okay, I'm sorry here. I didn't want to spend too long on this, but you can, the point is you can search for anything. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I should not have, when I typed in Cal Poly, I should not have clicked on Cal Poly. I should have just hit the return key.
Okay.
That's what I did wrong. I clicked on it when it brought up the suggestion. I should not have done that because it showed me the actual Cal Poly itself. I want to see people, not Cal Poly. So that's a lesson here. Here's somebody, Cal Poly Swift, students with an interest in the future in technology. Well, that's more of an organization, so that wouldn't help me. But this person here, he has Cal Poly. He lectures at Cal Poly. I can connect with him. You'll see in here, oh, by the way, I need to, since I'm in California, I need to select California. Now, by the way, if I'm interested in recruiting agents, then I'm looking all over the country, right? So I don't need to limit myself to California. But, oh, by the way, the first, you see where it says second here? That's a connection of your connection. So if it says first, that person's already your connection. If it says second, that means they're one of your connections. So this person has something to do with Cal Poly. They are a CEO. And look at that. That's a good choice. So I'm going to connect with that person. Now I do this. This is something, when you're asking the question, how often should I engage? I do this almost every day. I type something in. I think of something new to type in. CEO, president, my hometown. I type in your hometown, because let's say you're going to go farming. You're going to go farming in your town. So the name of my city is Eastvale, and Corona, we share a zip with Corona. So here's somebody that's an owner and a realtor of Eastvale properties in Corona. Well, wouldn't that be great for recruiting? I can connect with him and then say, how's it going with your business? That type of thing as time goes on. Here's somebody that owns a computer service in Corona, right? The city that we share the zip with. So that's a great person to connect with. And so does that make sense? Type in your church, type in your doctors, anybody. You can type in people by name, location. Now, what I have done, what I figure is, if I have connected with somebody that's not on my team, or somebody that I want to follow at EXP, do I really need to be connected to someone else in EXP? And the answer is no, not really. So I've gone back and deleted people from EXP. And the way you do that is you go to your network, you look at your connections, all of your connections, and you see there they all are. And when they are connected, you see this little message button, so I can message them. And if I search with filters and I say current company, if I just type in EXP, oh, you know what? It's going to make me, this is the problem we had before, right? There's more than one. So you might end up with somebody who is claiming to be EXP, but nonetheless, you can do multiple clicks, multiple check marks. By the way, here's a here's a kicking myself in the head. Will Higgins was a top producer at the Keller Williams that I left. He was Rookie of the Year his first year and went on to be the top producer on a team every year thereafter for 4 or 5 years. Well, he just left Keller Williams and went to EXP, and now he's a leader and a coach at EXP. Wouldn't have been nice if I had at least talked to him before he left for EXP. So it's kind of like your next door neighbor that sells his house with somebody other than you, and you're kicking yourself afterward. Don't let that happen. Go talk to your neighbors and talk to people that you worked with at your previous brokerage, if you were with one, and recruit them. That's kind of a lesson for all of us, right? So let's say here's a broker associate, Annabelle in Walnut. She might actually be like our broker here in California is called Deborah Penny, but she has a bunch of associate brokers. But let's say I don't want this person or any other person in my network. Let's see, by the way, out of curiosity, if I click on her 500 connections, 500 plus, do I see them? Yes, I do. I can see her connections. So I can take advantage and I can connect to her connections if I want to, which might be something to do. Or if I decide that I no longer want her as a connection, see where it says following? This is kind of like Facebook when you're following people and you want to get rid of them. I will unfollow and then I will remove the connection. So now this person, if I go back to my network, will no longer be a connection of mine, and I won't see anything that they post. And I don't know if what my number was before, but now I'm down to 3,714 connections. That's just
Chris,
yeah.
hi, this is Benetta. What's the difference between connection and contacts? Is that somebody you're following, the connections, and then the contacts?
Oh, very good question. I was going to get to that. Contacts are people that you have imported from your email. They are not a connection of yours. They may or may not be on LinkedIn. And there's some point when you're filling out your profile, you'll say, do you want to upload your contacts? And so to say, yes, I do. And it will look through all of your contacts in your email, however many emails you have, and put them as a contact. They will not become a connection until you click to connect with them. So you can see here's a person that is obviously on LinkedIn. They're a recruiter. I don't remember why that person is a contact of, a contact of mine in the past. But let's say I want to connect with her because we've already got some relationship. So yes, that's a very good question. So is that clear?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Following, by the way, this is another little thing you can do on LinkedIn. I suggest that you go in and you connect with as many professional companies as possible, and you follow some important people. You see, I got Grant Cardone, Gary Vaynerchuk, Damon John, some people that would be good for you to follow. And you don't need to follow that many, but people see who you're following. That kind of helps to improve your profile. And you don't want to follow Charles Manson, for instance. You want to follow people that will make it look good that you're following them. Groups. This is what I was telling you about. Get in the professional groups, the various LinkedIn groups that have something to do with real estate. Now, when I look at my connections, this is another little trick that I learned that is not readily obvious. In your connections, I'm going to click on all of my invitations that I sent out. Because not everybody responds. And there will be a lot of people who do not respond. And for some reason, why am I not finding it? I had it written down here. Does anybody know how I do that? I apologize. You want to look at all of the connections requests that you sent out and get rid of the ones that have not responded in three or more months. I wrote down in my notes here. Click on connections on the left and then click on invitations. So let's see if that works. My network, connections. And why am I not seeing the invitations? So let's see. As you can see, I have a lot of connections. Well, I'm just going to have to, I'm sorry, I'm just going to have to send you the notes for that. That's funny. I did it right before I got on the call and somehow it's escaping my mind. I guess it's not 100% as simple as I said it was in the beginning. There's a lot of things to click on, but as you're, the important thing is to just click on everything and learn what it does.
This is very helpful. Thank you very much.
Okay, I apologize for these little missteps here.
That's okay.
Let's go back to your email real quick. You're going to get something when it happens that says, so-and-so just had a birthday. And say happy birthday or something. The LinkedIn will suggest that you do that. And I suggest that you do that. If nobody's having a birthday right now, it doesn't show up, but you'll see it in your email. Or congratulate so-and-so on their 5th anniversary with the company, that type of thing. You'll see that in your email, and I suggest you click on that and say happy birthday. If they're a complete stranger, it's up to you whether you want to do that. If you have any kind of a connection with them, you can just say, oh, by the way, it's already filled out for you. You just click on happy birthday, so-and-so, and then click, and then it sends it. So I think that's all I have for now, except for the advanced stuff, which takes hours, and that has to do with how do you market? How do you market from LinkedIn? And we're gonna have to go over that at another time. But is anything on questions on filling all of this out and getting going, getting up and running?
Well, that's pretty thorough. I mean, I really appreciate. I know I did mine years ago and thought it was pretty thorough, but I'm going to say it's really not. And then I have somebody that actually does all that stuff for me. But I can see we can get a lot more out of this than what we begin doing. So, but you said earlier you placed an ad. Is that something you get for the basic service in LinkedIn, or is that part of the you have to pay extra for that?
Yes, I'm not sure if I'd recommend it. What I did was on your homepage here, LinkedIn is kind of designed to help you get a job or help you find somebody for a job. So you can actually post a job wanted, which I did as an experiment. I got 13 applicants. And despite the fact that I said you must have a real estate license or you must be currently enrolled in a real estate class, only 2 of them did out of the 13. And only 2 of them had a license and 2 were working on their license. So that's 4 out of the 13. And the other, was kind of a spam resume that shouldn't have been sending me their resume in the first place, since they had absolutely nothing to do with real estate.
That helps to weed out the people that can't follow directions.
I guess so. And there's little boxes for you to check on there that you have the app, you can fill out any question you want. You can say recommended responses, yes, or required responses, yes. And even though I had required yes, LinkedIn still sent me their resume and said, this person is not a match, but here they are. So, you know, at least it did that. So I'm not sure if I would recommend that, maybe sometime down the line, because it was kind of a hassle going through those 13 resumes and looking at that. And I talked to Andre, by the way, and I talked to Gary, and kind of the consensus is it's great to attract as many people as possible, but when you start attracting new agents or people that aren't even agents yet, you're in for a lot of work. So you're going to have to coach those people. You're going to have to set them up and so on. And do you really want to do that? And then is that your ideal person? So that,
Yeah.
And by the way, I should just briefly, I talked about creating an ideal person. And I did mention that, but it's kind of important. Go back in time and ask yourself about the best person you've ever worked with. Duplicate that person and try and attract that person on LinkedIn. And as you're looking at that person, imaginary or real person, you want to attract people just like that. So where do they live? How much money do they make? You know, that type of thing. And that's something you can do on Facebook, right? You can market, you can say, I only want to market to this demographic, people that make this much money. There isn't quite such a concept like that on LinkedIn. But if you were to do something like that, you want to consider your target audience. And your target audience comes into play when you're writing your profile. So if that makes sense, that's a good thing to do.
Well, if you have, well, let's say back to the ad. Did the ad go out to the general audience in LinkedIn, or did it just go to your contacts? Do you know if is there a way to specify that, or?
It went to everybody, and it went to everybody for 3 days. And if I wanted longer than that, I had to pay $25 a day. And if I wanted more specification on tracking and a wider audience, it went out to some super secret algorithm that they have on who to send it out to. Probably very much similar to Facebook, where you don't really have the whole world. You have a limited audience that sees your post. So I got, even though I paid nothing for it, I got the free version. I still got the 13 responses. So at least I know it went out to somebody. And by the way, somebody from Egypt wanted to know if they could get a job with me and if I would give them a visa for that to bring them to the country. And I said, well, no, sorry, that's not what I do. But that shows you how it gives the impression that you're bigger than you really are, and it went worldwide. So when I did that, I had no idea it was going to go worldwide. So that means people all over the world see your profile. So I'm generally impressed with LinkedIn. It seems so much more professional than Facebook, right?
Yeah, it's the network for professionals, that's for sure. Okay, so if we wanted to post something, like we have a position on the team available, and we just wanted to send out to the people we're connected to, we could just do a simple post on that.
A simple post, yes, absolutely, yeah. And that's what I suggest. And to start a post, you just click on start a post.
Okay. Okay.
And oh, look at here, by the way, I forgot to say this. Anyone plus Twitter. I linked my Twitter account, even though I don't really do anything with Twitter. There is no way to link your Facebook, which is interesting, but it will, whatever you post here, if you want, will also post on Twitter. Or you can say, oh, look at here, Gary, here's your anyone on LinkedIn or connections only.
Okay.
So if I say anyone, people that aren't even my connections have the potential to see my posts, although it's less likely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's interesting. You got 13 responses, but really only a few of them had a license,
Right. even though I
Yeah.
clearly spelled it out that they need a license. So
Yeah.
that's a little bit of a bummer. But oh, by the way, did I say this? Gary has already corresponded with him. I found somebody on LinkedIn. I'm sorry, am I repeating myself? But I
No, that's
found the guy from Cal Poly. Maybe I didn't explain. I found a student at Cal Poly that passed his course and had signed up for his real estate license. So I've been corresponding with him, and he has not started with a brokerage. And he has agreed to start with me with EXP, and he's setting up a conference call with Gary. So if you think about that, that paid for my $450 LinkedIn course, didn't it?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know on the team, Judy routinely, she's out there every day, wishing people happy birthday, things like that, and responding to comments. So it's always been a branding, just sort of creating front of mind presence type tool for us, and I never really thought about it in any other terms, although I know people who actually do use it as part of their business platform to generate profit, whatever business they're in. There's several people that do that and do have success. And I think they have the pro version, but I think we looked at it years ago and it just didn't, seem like it was necessary. But from what I'm gathering, I believe LinkedIn has made a giant push in the last couple of years and have probably improved that. So I don't know. Have you ever looked at the pro version, Chris? I don't even know what it costs. You have any idea what that costs?
I keep getting these emails saying sign up for a free trial, but no, I don't know how much it costs.
Yeah.
And just like Facebook, by the way, it
Mhm.
changes. The whole look of LinkedIn has changed. So if you go in there one day and everything's all different,
Yeah.
you're still going to have some sort of buttons along the top, and that would be the place to start. And by the way, Gary, here you see over here on the right, post a job. This is how you post your job, if whatever it is that you want to post.
Yeah.
It makes you log back in again.
Okay. Interesting.
All right. So I hope that was helpful, and you got $1,500 worth.
There you go. Hey guys, any questions while we got Chris? I know we're getting close on time here, but I'd actually like to let's do a poll. So if you could type in the chat box or click on the raise hand. Let me know if you currently use LinkedIn or have used LinkedIn in the past. It'd be interesting to see the numbers of people here. Let's see what kind of 5, 6, 7 hand raises so far. And so far, a couple of chats coming in. Brianna's using it quite a bit. So Brianna, have you used it, Brianna, to mainly to connect with people to help you build out your database, or have you used it more directly to like put listings out there of like a local fourplex or something? If you want to unmute yourself, Brianna, feel free. Let me
Hi, I use it mainly to connect with my sphere.
Mhm.
I'm gonna take some of Chris's advice and reach out a little bit more. I've been really selective about who I've accepted in.
Mhm.
So I probably need to cast a wider net.
How many connections would you say you have?
I would probably say several hundred, not
Yeah.
as many as Chris, but
Right. It's so my take on this years ago, guys, was remember I said I used it for branding and basically creating a front of mind presence. So real estate is really two activities. One is to build your database, and the other is to serve your database. So build a lot of marketing we do is meant to attract people, to bring people in, put them in your database, and then you can send them meaningful, relevant information, tools, strategies, calculators, spreadsheets, market updates, samples of properties, all kinds of stuff. So if you think about the kind of people you want to work with, LinkedIn already does one level of sort of filtering for you. They're professionals. People on LinkedIn are professionals. Doesn't mean they all have money, but I'm pretty sure, you know, if it's a cross section of society, it's probably a pretty good cross section. You know, there's all kinds of groups out there, dental groups, all kinds of stuff. So in any case, when you think about it in those terms, indirectly, it does serve you. So you make the connections, you invite in the class, you know, you can invite into this class. So the Monday Night Live class is now open to the public as of a few months back, and it's, you know, strictly education, you know. So people who want to learn, yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead. Oh, I thought somebody was getting ready to chat there, but so does that make sense, guys? I mean, if you think about it in those terms, you like, and Chris even mentioned this, it's not like you go in there and post something, say, hey, nobody looking to buy or sell a house, I appreciate referrals. That's not what we're doing on LinkedIn. We're establishing a network of professional relationships. And you might say something like this. Here's an example of a fourplex my client, Chris Latham, bought last week. I just want to show you guys the numbers so you can see what's possible. And the fact is that people do still invest in any type of a market. You know, and that, and make it our say, would you like me to see what I can find in your market? I have access to all the properties in the country, something like that. You know, that's the way I see this being used now that we have this network, and of course we have access to all the properties in the country. So,
that's a good point. That's a good point, and that's what I was saying earlier. Your connections, I like that word. They're not your friends, and they're not your clients yet, and you should not be marketing or selling to them until you establish a relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the way, can I say this real quick?
Yep.
The one I was looking for earlier, I forgot where it was. You click on My Network. You see where it says no pending. Am I still sharing?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. See where it says no pending invitations? Click on Manage. Here's Received. I got rid of all my received earlier. I mean, I accepted them all. And you click on Sent, and you'll see that I have sent out 695 requests that have not been accepted. So if I go down here to the last one, you see there's 7 pages. And let's go down to the bottom of there. And here's this person, a student at Cal Poly. That was where I found the person that's joining Gary's team. This person hasn't responded in 4 months. If they haven't responded in 4 months, you know, they're not a LinkedIn user. So I'm going to withdraw that. Okay. And if they come back around, even somebody I'm really interested in, if they haven't responded in 4 months, I'll find them again. I suppose I could take a screenshot and try again in 3 or 4 months, but with so many people that I'm connecting with anyway, you know, why should I bother? So set your criteria, and it's better for you anyway, because it ends up over here. You see down here in the lower right where it says messaging. You can see that I have a lot of messages that come in. Do not feel obligated to respond to all of your messages. Here's somebody. We're specializing in businesses, and this person wants to give me a loan, get funding, so on and so forth. Well, that might be useful, right? I can either just say, okay, you know, and that's enough and be done with it, or I can say nothing. Like the people that send me stuff about Bitcoin, I don't say anything. I don't say thank you or anything. I just delete it and move on. It's like your email. Don't feel obligated to answer everything. There's 3,700 and some connections. I only just briefly kind of go through this real quick. Here's somebody that wants to sell luxury homes and so on. So, you know, if you think it might be useful in the future, you can click on it and click mark as unread, and then it will stay in bold, and you can go back to it later. But you can see I get a lot of them, and I don't bother to look at all of them. And you can filter them. You can say, oops, sorry. You can say right here with this little thing here, you can say, only show me unread messages. So you
Mhm.
can see I've got a lot of them.
Here's one from Tom Wall. Tom's in class tonight.
Okay, hi, Tom.
Yeah. Yeah. It's from South Florida. Yeah.
Yeah. See, now LinkedIn does some kind of artificial intelligence. It thinks that Tom is asking me for something, and I can say, no, thanks. Well, you better read it before you click on no thanks, because it's not what he's asking. So if I say thanks, oops. Okay, and then send it. Now, Tom has gotten my reply. And just as simple as that, Tom, it still says Keller Williams here. So you got it.
He's there. He's the Keller. So there's people on tonight from different organizations, different guests from different companies. So.
Oh, very good. Okay, I thought you were with EXP. So when you come with EXP, then change that away from Keller Williams. How's that sound?
There you go.
Okay. All right, very good. Thank you for listening, everybody. I hope it wasn't too scattered. I have my notes, which I sent to Beverly, and she will put it out on the drive.
Okay. And I'm going to go through this real quick. So Melody's I just started using it again because she was working on an MBA, was required to complete profile as a project. Excellent. Can you post your recruiting website link?
Our recruiting website is our name.
Yeah.
EXP.
Yeah.
You get it by default.
Yeah.
Can you say that again? You cut off.
It's I'm having a time. Mine is hang on. What's the format again, Larry, Gary?
Yeah, I can't remember the syntax.
The
Let me check.
The format is your name.exprealty.com for your website.
Here.
No, you're recruiting. Oh, careers.
Not careers.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about the website. My bad.
Yeah.
I sent that to Michael.
There's
Okay,
Rob Lane, .exp careers. Okay. Okay, guys. Well, I'll tell you what. I hope you like this. Next week, this is unusual for me to not teach so many weeks in a row, but we changed the structure of how we have outside guests get their link to be a host, and they didn't realize they were receiving it. So we had missed a couple people. In the meantime, we'd already made commitments to a couple students to teach. So I will be teaching again on the 1st of November, and we're going over scripts. So if you want to be in on scripts, I will be on November 1st. And more importantly, more immediately, next Monday, the 25th, another agent on the team, the GIA team, Gene Kenskoff, is going to show you how to show you how to make phone calls from KV Core from your CRM. So it's mass calling or individual calling. And so that's going to be a pretty interesting class. I mean, in Vital. So we had Eddie Picasso teach us about texting, right? Gene's going to come on and show us how to do phone calls. It sounds like it's pretty good. He's got results. I know we have other products like Mojo Dollar and things like that, but this may be a great alternative that's already, for the most part, paid for, so keep an eye out for that. And then in the meantime, if you haven't had a one-on-one for a bit, please go ahead and schedule one. I've seen a couple of them scheduled. Next week, I should have mentioned this earlier. So next week, I will be out again. It's sort of a retreat. So there won't be any time slots you'll see to schedule strategy calls for next week. But just like back in the summer, if you're stuck on something, highest and best offer, you're not sure what to do, negotiating, please let me know, text, phone call, email. I'd rather you let me know, and let's help you get through that, as opposed to risking you potentially losing a transaction that you worked so hard for. And and that goes for everybody. So doesn't matter if you're on the team or not. I know what the business is like. I've been in it for a long, long time. and you work hard for those transactions. Sometimes you get close to this train station, the train goes off the track a little bit. Just you raise your hand, ask for help, you know? So, any case, any further questions, guys? If not, I've got, no ice cream again tonight, but I've got some cookies from a weekend wedding that I'm gonna enjoy. So, let's see, next Wednesday and Monday, I will be in Tennessee. We'll watch the Flames. Okay, that sounds cool. So Chris, everybody's saying thank you for sharing. And Chris, I've sentiments for mine also. Really appreciate you doing this, and hope you can enjoy the rest of your evening with you still have the grandkids there?
No, we brought them back home.
Oh. Awesome. Okay, well, everybody listen, we'll see you, that'll be next Monday. Any questions in the meantime, I look forward to speaking with you. Remember, set up your calls. It's, you know, part of the deal is you gotta take that initiative to use the link to set up your calls. If you can't find the link, just let me know. I'll either text it to you or email it to you. And thanks again to the guests for coming on board tonight. Melanie, always good to see you again. And
Thank you.
hopefully we'll be back in the Lone Star State here before too long. We're going to start teaching Melanie again the holidays, not nearly like I used to do, but maybe a 2-day class, like on a Tuesday and Wednesday, or Wednesday and Thursday, once a quarter, something like that. And then maybe we'll eventually go to once a month. But you know, I don't think it's necessary for me to teach like I was before. Plus, it's amazing how much you realize you were missing when you've been gone for, I've literally gone for like 5 or 6 years, and the last year and a half I've been able to really, you know, relax and sleep in one bed for the most part, and eat home cooked meals. I tell you what, guys, travel sounds good and it's definitely fun for a while, but eating at restaurants every night is hard on the body. So gotta have good, wholesome, whole cooked meals. But in any case, we'll be doing that again, and I'm looking forward to it. And just as long as it doesn't consume my life, then I'll be happy. Everybody be happy. So listen, you guys have fun rest of the week. And some of you I'll be seeing in a few weeks in Vegas. Anything next week, just remember, text me first, and I'll be out different location on the coast again, but slightly different scenarios before. So take what Chris taught you tonight, use it. There's a few tricks I wrote down myself, a few notes I took, things I'm going to use myself, and I highly encourage you to do the same. It's one tool in your toolbox that's for professionals pretty much only, and you should definitely take advantage of it, because those are the folks you want to work with. Sound good?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You guys have a good night. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.